Hello everyone, my name is Clark, and today I'm going to be discussing some of the deeper themes of Majora's Mask. There's a lot of mystery and shroud when it comes to this game. A lot of people consider it to be the black sheep of the series, but nonetheless I consider a masterpiece filled with internal messages for you to decode left by Nintendo. Now, this contains major spoilers to both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, so please shut this video off if you don't want to be spoiled by this information, but I'm assuming most of you already know because you've played these games. I hope you have. They're fantastic. So Nintendo always leaves these little cryptic messages for you to figure out the themes of the game, and a lot of people have trouble recognizing the theme of Majora's Mask because it's so radically different from the other Zelda games in the sense of the gameplay and the story, and it wasn't even in Hyrule, had a time limit on certain things, but really none of that has to do with the overall message. But I do love this game. But let's begin by going back to Ocarina of Time. In that game, when Link pulled the Master Sword out of the pedestal, he then automatically, without any knowledge to himself, transformed into this adult. And he was this he was just a child in an adult's body. He probably didn't understand how he got to that point. He saw a future image of himself, of the man he is destined to become, a hero. But he had no idea how he got to that point. He missed 7 years of his life. So that brings us to Majora's Mask. Now, when I was a kid, and when Link left Zelda in the beginning and went on his own adventure, I was just about flipping out. It's like, why would he want to leave? He had the perfect life. He has Princess as his friend now, and everyone's his friend, and he can do anything he wants. He's really likable. The whole freaking kingdom loves him, or will love him, like in the future. So there's really no reason for him to leave. He has a nice life and a now new safe Hyrule. But guess what? He did not leave to go on an adventure at all. He did not want to go on an adventure. He wanted to discover himself. Which leads me to the key message of this game, is self-discovery. Link did not want to go on an adventure at all. It's just a coincidence that he found an adventure while just trying to discover himself by trying to live on his own and basically become a man on his own terms instead of instantly becoming a man. I do also find it kind of ironic that one of the key elements in this game are masks, and you wear a mask to hide who you truly are to the rest of the world. And that's what Link sees, I guess. So let's move on to the real villain in this game, if there really is any. Now, many people think, oh, it's just Skull Kid is evil. No, Skull Kid is a puppet, and he's a victim. He also has some self-identity issues after his friends left him. His friends being the 4 giants. But I think the real villain in this game is kind of the Happy Mask Salesman, and we will get into that in just a moment here. The Mask Salesman tells you the story of Majora's Mask, how it's from an ancient tribe of people, and contains awful, terrible, awful power, and that really makes me open up some theories about the Happy Mask Man that we will now talk about. One of my theories is he was an actual member of this ancient tribe, because he obviously knows more than he should about the mask in the first place, and he seemed very, very upset that it is missing, because he knows its true power. But one of the more prominent theories I've come up with are that the mask represents the evil in the salesman. And that is very, very applicable if you look at some of the hints that Nintendo put in the game. On the moon, which you'd think would be an awful place, but it ends up being like the happiest, most happy-go-lucky place environment in any N64 game ever, with a grassy field and a big tree in the middle. But underneath that tree is where all the key messages open up. There are children underneath this tree, 5 children in all, 4 wearing the Boss Remains masks, and 1 wearing Majora's mask. And they all of them resemble the mask salesman as a child. It is the mask salesman. You can tell it is totally him. So I think that his mask. I mean, you could basically couple this with the first theory about he's still like an ancient tribe survivor, and who God knows how old he is. But these children all demand masks. Or the 4 who are wearing the Boss Remains mask all demand masks for you to play with them, and they will reward you with a piece of heart if you do it. But the piece of heart's not really it's not the real prize, I don't think. It's the dialogue from the children. They will ask you questions of self-identity and morality, because I think the dark side of the happy masked salesman lives within inside the mask itself, and the ignorant, not unknowing spirit of the child of the masked salesman, or the childlike form of the masked salesman, is confused about his own self-identity. So, if you're not confused yet, let's get back into it. The questions that the children ask are: your friends, what kind of people are they? I wonder, do these people think of you as a friend? Another asks, you, what makes you happy? I wonder, what makes you happy? Does it make others happy too? The right thing, what is it? I wonder, if you do the right thing, does it really make everybody happy? And then the final one asks, your true face. What kind of face is it? I wonder, the face under the mask, is that your true face? So these questions are obviously from the mindset of a child who doesn't understand his own self-identity, or morality for that matter. So I think this is the mind of the inner child of the mask salesman trying to gain understanding in some way. And it also they won't tell you any of this information unless you give them all your masks, and if you don't have any masks, you cannot hide who you truly are. Now, people always debate of who these questions are cued towards, and I really came up with 3 possible solutions. They're cued by the mask salesman to try to gain, like, the spirit of the mask, and also the evil of the mask salesman, trying to gain understanding. Or they could be just cued towards Link in general, or they could be extended to you as the player. So all that really brings me to the final point of this unmasking of the game, and the final message here, I believe, is learn your values to discover what kind of person you are and what kind of person you want to be in the future. My name is Clark, and thank you very much for listening. Post a comment, like this video, and share it if you wish. And discover who you truly are.